Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Thursday night football on DraftKings for DraftKings Showdown this weekend. We have an absolute banger with the Kansas City Chiefs head to Los Angeles to play the Chargers in the highest totaled game of the week. Normally we don't see that on Thursday night football, especially for NFL DFS Showdown. So we have the Chiefs with a team total of 27.5, the Chargers with a team total of 23.5, two really high-powered offenses, but the way things are going right now, there's a lot of uncertainty. So you're going to have to pay attention as the inactives roll out. I'm going to go over all of it with you. We have players that are injured. We have players on health and safety restrictions. We have a lot of stuff going on in this game, but it still does project to be an absolute gunfight at SoFi. And I am excited to watch this game and excited to talk to you about the Showdown slate that is there. So thank you guys for being here. We, as always, are going to be promoting the FantasyLabs lineup building this. We'll build lineups with them on the end of the show. So drop a like, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me a reply down below with some of your lower played, like the low percentage guys that we like to put into that group on FantasyLabs to force one in. Who are the lower played guys that you think might end up scoring a touchdown on this slate? And let's go.
He's a legend.
We are at that time of year where things kind of get shaken up a little bit in NFL late in the season, week 15. So we still have the Listener League. It's for the main slate on Sunday only. So not on this Thursday night, not on the 2-game slate on Saturday. I will have a Saturday special video for you. It's going to come out probably early Friday morning. So look out for that one to break down the 2 games that are on the Saturday slate. But the Smiz Gang Listener League, $10. This week it is 5 max to try and help us I don't think everybody's going to 5 max this. I think the people that single entered are still going to do that. Most of the 3 max people will still be 3 max, but some of the people that are 3 max will move to 5 max, which will help us fill out this 3,250 person tournament and help us fill it out so that they don't make it smaller for the last few weeks of the season. So make sure that you jump in there, smizzle.tv/league, bookmark that. I changed the redirect for you. It's the same link every single week. Smizzle.tv/league will take you there every single week. So let's take a look at this slate. We have 2 dynamic quarterbacks right on top, right? Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. If they are in the captain spot, they are going to be expensive. Mahomes having a year that most people are saying, people aren't happy ever with anything. And I know that it's going to be coming down the road for Justin Herbert when he stops smashing, because first quarterback ever to have 30 plus touchdowns in their first 2 seasons, rookie year and second year. Mahomes did it, but he did not play his rookie year. He sat behind Alex Smith there. People are like, well, Mahomes in his first year is a totally different story. Justin Herbert has actually come out and broken the quarterback model for what young quarterbacks should be able to do. And at some point, it's not like he's been lucky with touchdowns either. He hasn't been really on the overperforming in terms of touchdown percentage. He's doing what he does, and he's got a great cast of characters around him. And we've seen him get over at around or over that 30-point mark on DraftKings a whole bunch this year. Week 3, week 5, week 9 against Philadelphia, 34, week 11. He has also had some stinkers in there. 13 points against Minnesota, under 20 the first 2 weeks, 12 points against Baltimore. So he's either been a top 5 quarterback on the week or not even a QB1 in terms of season long fantasy. So perfect for daily fantasy, perfect for tournaments. Not exactly the cash game guy that you want on the weekends, but for a single game showdown, it's absolutely fantastic. Same thing goes for Mahomes. All the stuff that people were saying early in the year, the people have figured out the Chiefs, and Mahomes is not as good as he used to be, and he's lost it. And it's there's a lot of things going on there. And maybe there's some of it is the factor somebody like Travis Kelce getting a little bit older, but more than likely it's just the way that they're being defensed now. And after you've seen this offense for a few years and players do get older, Father Time remains undefeated, just attacks people at different ages, right? You're going to see some differences. So I still think that Mahomes is a viable captain in this spot. Anytime that you think that there's going to be a shootout game, and last week being an absolute anomaly for Kansas City, with basically every running back scoring for them, where they scored 48 points and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce were not involved. Edwards-Helaire put in work. You even got Gore scoring a 50-yard touchdown last week in mop-up duty. We saw Williams kind of get in there and catch a touchdown on 3 targets. He looks like the most underpriced player on the slate at 3,200, to be honest with you. So if we're building Mahomes at captain lineups, and you guys know that I don't normally stick captain quarterbacks because about 15% of the total showdown slates ever have been won by a captain quarterback. B, the field overvalues them because daily fantasy has become such a projection-based game at this point that the quarterbacks are always going to project for a higher single game score than most position players. Very few of them are going to project for more than the 20 to 25 points that quarterbacks like these are going to project for, but they have a higher ceiling. The other players typically have a 30 to 45 point ceiling where quarterbacks don't always reside in that range. Now, players like Mahomes and Herbert do. I will typically add a little bit of percentage, but I still want to stay under the field with my quarterback allocation. But if I'm going to have Mahomes at quarterback, I'm going to make sure that 2 of his pass catchers are going to be involved in every one of those groups after Hill and Kelsey. And Kelsey, look, until the last 2 weeks when Kittle went off, he was the tight end 1 on the year. Still having a fantastic season, though 5.7 points, that ain't going to do it, Zeus. We're going to need a little bit more out of you. And because of the fact that Derwin James, the Chargers are good against the tight end, partially because Derwin James is a monster, but he's not going to play this week. There's injuries all over the board. We'll get to more of them when we get to the other side of the ball, because a lot of them are on the Chargers and the defense that the Chargers are playing against on the Chiefs. But Derwin James not there. So like if Travis Kelce is going to go off, this is the perfect spot for it. Coming off of 2 slow games where people are starting to wring their hands, right? And say, oh, Travis Kelce is just not good anymore. He's not doing things anymore that he used to do. My issue is the supply. He's got 1 end zone target this year. 1. That's absurd. That's as good of a coach as Andy Reid is, and as much respect as I have for him and the play calling that they've had with Eric Bieniemy the last few, like that's malpractice unless there's something wrong that we're not aware of. Because Travis Kelce, typically one of the league leaders at tight end for the last 3-4 seasons in terms of end zone targets, the greatest predictor of touchdown scoring, as well as, you know, receptions and yards for a tight end. They're very sticky from year to year. The more yards you have, you certainly have touchdowns as a tight end. Typically speaking, your bigger players are the ones you want to target around the goal line, and he's still very good when they get in close, but they're just not targeting him in the end zone this year. That has to change. I'm hoping that it changes this week, especially with Derwin James out. Hardman is higher priced, probably because of his big playability, but like Matt Cole has just been pretty meh all season long. Drops, fumbles, not able to get open, not getting separation, and Byron Pringle has kind of moved past him in terms of snaps and routes run per game. So the fact that Pringle is half the price, I would prioritize Pringle over Hardman. That's probably going to happen with the percentages just naturally based on the fact that he's like half the price of Hardman. Then go to him, then go to Robinson, and then maybe throw in somebody else off this list who's available tomorrow night. I will be including the kicker in that group as well, because the kicker correlates better with the quarterback than people are willing to admit. If I'm going to build a receiver group with him, taking a look at the Kansas City targets, Tyreek Hill with 30%, Travis Kelce still with 24.5% of the target market share. Mecole Hardman still resides here, but I believe that Pringle will out target him the rest of the season. I could be wrong there. I'm willing to be wrong there. I think that Pringle is the more talented wide receiver, even though Hardman is a much more talented athlete. So if we're building captain groups, I'm going to have a very tight captain group for Kansas City. It's probably going to exist with Tyreek Hill. I'm going to include Mahomes in any Tyreek Hill at captain lineup. Same thing goes for Travis Kelce. If he has a game where he's going to be the viable captain, let's say 8 catches, 115 yards, and 2 touchdowns, that means Mahomes also probably had a very big day and is going to be needed for single game showdown in that lineup, and we'll find value where we find it. The running backs on this team, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back to being the lead back. I think that people are going to fall for Gore running that long touchdown in last week. It was clearly in mop-up duty when the game was well put away. They won 48-9. It was ridiculous. So to me, like I said before, one of the best values on the slate is probably Darrell Williams, sliding in right behind Clyde Edwards-Helaire in terms of snaps. Edwards-Helaire getting the lion's share, but Darrell Williams not getting it's not like it's 80-20. It's like 55-40. So Williams on the field enough to do work. And at 3,200, if you're going to score a touchdown, that's going to be a necessary play in a single game showdown slate. The other side of the football, this is where the injuries come into play. Herbert has been amazing, as I said before, but there are multiple injuries or health and safety players on the offensive line. So rookie Rashawn Slater, he's on the COVID list. They've lost their right guard. They've lost their right tackle. So like it's a lot missing off of that offensive line. Now, the Chiefs defense has been very good recently. However, they're also missing one of their best pass rushers and defensive linemen and one of their middle linebackers. So the case of the movable object meets the penetrable force. Like whatever's happening here is going to be weird. And Austin Eckler rolled his ankle last week and now he's questionable for this week. So if he can go, we're good, right? So the coach said he's just sore. We're going to make sure before the game he's feeling okay. They're going to test him out. I'm expecting him to play. If he does not play, of the other two backs that I think we should be prioritizing, number one would be Justin Jackson, more versatile, better in the passing game. We've seen him fill that role before. And then that would leave Kelly as kind of the goal line back at 800. They'll probably split. They play a lot of guys as is, like the backup running backs do get snaps. It's not like Austin Eckler plays 95% out there. So these guys are already getting bites at the apple. And if Eckler does happen to not be able to make it through warmups and get out there, then I would prioritize one over the other. But Kelly as a goal line back at 800 with like 40% of the work does look mighty tasty at that price. So as I said with the Chiefs, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to build Justin Herbert groups. I'm going to assume for the rest of this that Eckler's available. I'm going to include him in there because he gets over 15% of the market share, as we can see here. 14.81 in the games that he's played. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen are up top, then Jared Cook, and guys down below them, Guyton, Parham is great for single game showdown. So might be Steven Anderson. Monitor everything because there's so many injuries and COVID going nuts in the NFL right now. That the inactives 90 minutes before the game are going to be extremely important for us to focus on, as well as the kicker for the Chargers going to be in that Herbert group. Building the same way with our captain group. If we have Eckler at captain, I will allow for Herbert to be in that group. I'm not going to tie him to it. I might boost Herbert in lineups where Eckler is the captain, but not force Herbert in lineups where Eckler is the captain. But with the pass catchers, I'm going to do just that. Keenan Allen going to be tied to Herbert, and Mike Williams going to be tied to Herbert. Probably not going to be using the super cheap guys. I tend to stick to the players that I believe can lead the slate in scoring, lead the game in fantasy scoring, because that's typically going to be your optimal captain, unless there's a weird situation like that Packers game last week. So going over to FantasyLabs, the lineup build is going to be done the exact same way that we talked. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. Here's the 5 groups that I start with every showdown, and I'll build off of these and change them as I have to. Captain quarterback with at least 2 of their pass catchers and kicker. Pair the captain quarterback with at least 1 of the opposing team. Pair the captain wide receiver with exactly 1 quarterback from their team. Pair the captain tight end with the quarterback from the same team, and limit to at most 1 defense or kicker. I may snowflake the defenses in this game. I'm happy getting kickers in there. Probably don't want as much of either defense. I'll build a rule to allow Eckler to be forced in with Herbert as well. And we're going to build that player group where we use at least 1 of all the players that we think are going to be, like, not all of them, but like a group of players between 5 and 8 players that you think are going to be under 20%, under 20 or 25%, to get a little differentiation in your lineup, so that if you do share, and when it comes to single game showdown, you're going to share with a bunch of different people because that's the nature of the game. There's only so many plays to be played. You want to be holding hands with like 5 people or 10 people instead of like 20, 30 or 50 or 100 or 500 people. When you win, you want to maximize the amount that you win. So getting in those lower play players and forcing at least 1 of them into every lineup will do that for you. So thank you guys for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Go check out the great tools that they have over at FantasyLabs. Link down below in the pinned comment and the description. Smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. Thank you guys for watching. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.